Hey, folks, y'all see the title here. I'm going to go ahead and get into this one, but I have to get some perfunctory because you're like, well, Nick, what the, da. Look, fraud, waste, and abuse. Okay. This isn't nothing new to anybody that was in the United States military. Pick a branch. Okay. You guys know I'm an Army guy. Okay. But military is the military. You still got all of them have IG, which is the inspector general, and that's King Turd that will come in and rain on your freaking parade if you get caught doing something wrong. Okay. All right. Now look, in the Army, I'm quite sure the Marine Corps and all the other ones are, or the other branches are the same. You are tasked with doing certain things in the Army. There are certain things in the Army. Every soldier, male, female, it don't make a difference if you are in armor, you a tanker, you are artillery like me, you're air mobile artillery like me, or you a infantryman. Hell, you a truck driver, an engineer, or a freaking finance clerk. They in the Army, they used to call it SIDPERS, SIDPERS. I can't remember what the acronym mean. I think they changed it. It's pretty much the same thing, but they gave it a different MOS designation. Anyway, well, I had a girlfriend that was a SIDPERS clerk when I was a young soldier. But anyway, 75 Bravo, I think it was. But anyway, it was a basic knowledge. They talked about it, but as you went up in rank, this was preached more and more. And one thing the Army will do is it will select individuals, your unit. I mean, it's done at a unit level, like your first sergeant, you got a urinalysis NCO. That's the guy that the first sergeant or the sergeant major put in charge for your battery, because we artillery, we're batteries. We don't have companies. Your battery. And he's the guy that's over doing the P test, for the drug screening and whatnot. And you have a loss prevention NCO. I was the loss and prevention NCO. Basically, I have to, go to the soldiers' rooms. You got your stereo equipment, TV, whatever the hell is, a form that we used to you have to fill it out. We put your name on it. I put all the serial numbers on there. Serial numbers are your items. Got the engraver, and we used to have to engrave your name and whatnot on, this engrave. You sure did, on the bottom, on the back, somewhere, because if it was stolen, we can identify it. I was the loss prevention NCO, but you have one also for fraud, waste, and abuse. I've never done it, but I know it exists. But all of us, now he was a little more into it than we were, but I'm just giving y'all this insight. Hell, we even had the guy for each battery that was in charge. Normally it was an E6 or above, that was in charge of collecting the oil samples off the engines of your power units. The Army, the AOAP program, Army Oil Analysis Program. Yes, that's a real thing. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. You have to fill up, and the results went on your 2404 to keep your vehicle or piece of equipment off the 2406 report. Why do I still remember this stuff? God damn. But anyway, let's just go straight to it. We ain't calling DOD hotline complaints. Let's just go straight to what is fraud, waste, and abuse. Now, I'm going to elaborate a little, but let's just go ahead and see what does this got to do with the government? The military is part of the government. This is a federal government program and a federal government document. And you can get it from dodig.mil. MIL stands for military, of course. And there's a .gov one too. Pretty much says the same thing. It just leaves the rank structure out, because ours go through the rank structure before it go, and then depending on how bad it is on how further it goes. Normally it just stays within the ranks. Battalion and under. It's rare. It got to be something crazy to make it to brigade or higher. Okay. And in all my year, in my 2 decades, I didn't see anything ever make it to brigade or higher. I didn't. But anyway, let's go. Fraud, an intentional deception designed to deprive the United States. It doesn't say the U.S. Army. It doesn't say the Air Force. It says the United States. Any intentional deception designed to deprive the United States unlawfully of something of value or to secure from the United States for an individual to benefit, privilege, allowance, or consideration to which he or she is not entitled. He or she is not entitled. Keep. I need to get my highlighter thing. Let's see if it'll work. Yeah, there you go. He or she is not entitled. Such practices include, but are not limited to, the offer, payment, or acceptance of bribes. Hey, I got a freaking deal for yous. You can't do that. Well, you can. You're going to get caught. You're getting in trouble. Article 15 is heading your way. Trust me. It's going to be on the first thing smoking. Making false statements, submitting false claims. A false claim is, I lost something, and so the Army, they, the way it goes, you lose something, it's prorated due to the age and use of it. You still have to pay, but you're not paying full price like it was. Now, if you lost something brand new, fresh off the press, you're fucked. But you are freshly fucked up. Okay. But more often, you're using something that's been used and used and used and used. So it's prorated. So basically what it is, you stole something. I'm doing air quotes. You stole something, but you said you lost it. So supply sergeant, they fill out it's called a statement of charges, and your commander signs off on it and saying, Private Snuffy lost his extreme cold weather parka. Okay. But it was this, so they didn't docked your pay, $40 for a $250 parka. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not new. So that everything is prorated. That's fraud. Okay. And I've known people to do that. Now, I didn't do that, but I know some people that did, and I'll just leave it at that. But that's a textbook example of submitting a false claims, using false weight and measures, evading or corrupting inspectors or other officials, deceit by suppressing the truth or misrepresenting material fact, adulterating or substituting materials. That one should be pretty easy to figure out. Falsifying records and books of accounts. That's normally what happens. People lose something. They can't find something, it's misplaced, and they jimmy the books like it's there. And then when they actually do an inspection and find out that 5 gas cans are missing. We call them jerry cans. We don't call them gas cans in Army. We always call them jerry cans. But 5 gas cans are missing. Okay, well, who signed for them? Because everything belongs to somebody. If it's in the supply room, it belongs to the supply sergeant. If it left the supply room and went to a soldier or a howitzer section, it went to an individual. Either you directly, or if it went to a howitzer section, it went to the gun chief, because he's in control of that howitzer section in this example. Okay. All right. Now, you signed for a refrigerator from supply to put in your room, and that refrigerator is gone. Well, somebody stole it. Well, did you report it? No. Okay, to find out, dude gave it to his girlfriend off post or something. Dude, you getting charged for that. Number one, you getting rolled up, and you gonna pay for that. But here we go again. This is that deal. It's prorated. Now, a commander can override a prorate if they find out that what you done was intentional. Then they can overwrite the prorate system and charge your ass full price, and you still probably going to get Article 15. But anyway, I'm just throwing this in, trying to make it make sense. Another thing is, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go ahead. Secret profits, kickbacks, commissions, conspiring to use any of these devices. Basically, you taking government shit, using it for stuff, the profit for yourself, and with they stuff, that was supposed to be used by government, by us government folks. Military, we are government employees. The term also includes conflict of interest case, criminal irregularities, and the unauthorized disclosure of official information relating to procurement and disposal matters. That means you lie, because the Army has programs of you destroying things that isn't anymore, that's deemed of no more use. Normally it's a place called, most posts it's called DIO. Normally they handle that. That's the Directorate of Ordnance. But anyway, they handle that. But let's say you were supposed to destroy a case of, I'm just using an example. You was supposed to destroy a case of 5.56 ammunition. You were given disposal order. We downrange this, that, and other, how we burn powder and all this other stuff before we leave. You supposed to uncap them and this, that, and other. And you wrote that, and you wrote it down and signed off that you uncapped it, but you didn't uncap it. You threw it in the back of your Humvee and let it sit there. And then a few weeks later, at this and marinated and the dust and settled, you done picked it up and put it in your car. That will get you in trouble. That's fraud. That's when you unauthorized disclosure of relating to procurement and disposal matters. You were supposed to dispose of it and you didn't. You kept it. Well, they was going to throw it away anyway. It's not yours to make that determination. If it's set for disposal, you dispose of it. It's just that freaking simple. You do not acquire it and reappropriate it for your own personal use. You can't do that. Well, you can, but if you get caught, you're up shit creek in a chicken wire boat without a paddle. Onward, waste. I got a video I'm gonna show y'all. The extravagant, careless, or needless expenditure of government funds. Boy, I can think of a whole bunch of them. Or the consumption of government property that results from deficient practices, systems, controls, or decisions. Okay, deficient practices. All right, why is this unit going through so many of these? Whatever the heck, going through so many of these, we don't know. But every other unit, every other howitzer battery, how come they still on their first two cases and you're already been resupplied 4 freaking times? Well, because they're not adjusting this properly, or they're not lubricating it properly, and it's wearing out and it's failing prematurely due to you being derelict. At the operator level and your supervisor, because trust me, your sergeant gonna get some of that work too. He gonna get more work than you are, actually, believe it or not. That's waste. You're costing the military, you're costing the government, the taxpayer, money. You're costing them money. Another one, a carelessness, leaving a truck running. I can't tell you how many times I came in the motor pool doing yeah, this is my night on CQ. I got CQ or what before I made Sergeant ACQ and go down and a damn Humvee is running or a Cuck V is running or M880 is running. That's a Dodge pickup truck. It's called an M880. Commercial is civilian, but used for commercial military use. It's called an M880. Cuck V, that was the Chevy Blazer. Okay. All camouflaged up, 24-volt system, 4-wheel drive. Yeah. Diesel engine. Yeah. And it's running. Now, of course, I'm going to write it up because I don't need none of this heat. What unit, the truck number, the bumper number, this, that, and other, because somebody got paid for, how much, just stuff like that is waste. Well, that's just a little bit. Dude, that's happening all over everywhere. The bill for that at the end of the year will probably boggle your mind. Okay, that's waste. Abuse. The intentional or improper use of government resources that can include the excessive or improper use of one's position. We call that pulling rank in the Army, okay? In a manner contrary to its rightful or legally intended use. Examples include misuse of rank, position, or authority, or misuse of DOD resources. There are so many examples of that. I don't want to bore you, but let me go ahead and show you guys this video here. I'll give you a prime example where this could go one or two ways. Okay, now let's go ahead and get this in. This is Michael Waltz, Congress, and he's going to he's on the Armed Services Committee, and he's confronting some Air Force top brass about this deal here. Now I'm gonna let it play, and I'm going to bust in a little bit because to show you how this could go one or two different ways. All right, let's go.
I mean, I understand there is a quality over quantity argument, but the basic issue is if they can't fly, that is a strategic failing on our part. And I think the Pentagon has become so focused on, I know it's a balance, I know there's a pendulum swing, but on making these.
And this is the part where we saying, oh, it ain't gonna touch, they ain't gonna touch the military budget. Yes, they are, but not in the way that you think. It's gonna be stuff like this. Just trust me. Because I'm telling you from up front, I remember us getting certain things and looking at the hand receipt as you're signing for this thing. Now, of course, that wasn't a problem when I was E1 to E5. I mean, this only became, E5 a little bit because I did make gun chief at E5. We were short chiefs, but more so when you E6, E7, E8. That's when this started. And you looking at this like, wait a minute. I'm signing for this radio, right? I'm signing for this PRC, this ANPRC. Because you had 57, 68, 170, 160. It's just so, it depends on the application, the radio that you, and believe it or not, the AN and that stands for Army Navy don't ask me why, but the AN stands for Army Navy, and the PRC stands for Portable Radio Communication. Because the Army, we F up everything. We call it a prick. We got a prick 117, a prick 168. Prick 57, but that's what portable radio communication. Army, Navy, even though Marine Corps have them, even though Air Force got them, but I don't know the originator of that nomenclature. I just know that the AN stands for Army, Navy, and PRC is portable radio communication. So anyway, now listen to that. This is crazy.
These kind of handmade, bespoke, high-tech Ferraris. But sometimes you need a fleet of pickup trucks, and you certainly need, whether they're Ferraris or pickup trucks, that can operate in the desert and can operate out in the corrosive environment in the Pacific. So let's talk about some of your pickup trucks. The Air Force owns and operates DoD's largest fleet of commercial derivative aircraft. They use commercial parts. This, Mr. Secretary, is a bag of bushings. This bag of bushings, stamped out by machinists, don't need a high school diploma. It's not anything high tech about this. All of this bag is compliant with the FAA specifications. How much do you think the Air Force pays for this bag of bushings?
This bushings, like I say, it's steel. Now it's stainless, but designed to take high temperatures, because these bushings go in jet engines. I actually, a very dear friend of mine, retired first sergeant, aircraft mechanic in the Air Force, retired 22 years, first sergeant. He started at the bottom and went all the way to first sergeant. He tells me about stuff like this. He's been telling me stuff about this for years. I give you another one. It's a big chunk of rubber, and it's molded. You can tell it's molded, and we use it on howitzers. It goes on the breech block. Okay. And you got the spindle head and the breech block. I'll see if I can find a exploded picture. It's called exploded view, where you can see the parts. And this thick piece of rubber is about an inch and a half thick, about 6 inches in diameter. And, in this curve where it goes against the breech block, the spindle head goes in, you put the nut on the back and you torque it because you got to compress it a little bit. What it does is when you close the breech, it seals the gun tube. So when you pull the lanyard and the shell and the powder goes off and sends the shell, it seals it so the blasts don't come back inside where you at. It stays in the tube, the breech, and to push the shell down the tube. That piece of rubber, I still remember we had to replace one. That piece of rubber was something like $1,000 and some odd. No, take that back. It was like $700 and some odd dollars. Of course, I ain't got to pay for it, but I'm just looking at, why does this cost so much? And I was saying that then. This is in the 80s. This was in the 80s. Why does this cost so damn much? Ain't your mother? Man, this is insane. Oh, like I said, lose a battery on a Prick 68. Lose a battery on a Prick 68 and see how much that piece of junk crap battery costs you. Lose an antenna off of 117. Oh my goodness. We're getting hosed. There's no way in hell this stuff costs that much. Now you're talking about a turbine engine and an M1 Abrams. Oh, well, hell yeah, that's gonna be expensive. But a chunk of rubber with no moving parts, the toilet seat thing that they got busted on back in the day, where they paying $500 for a toilet seat, $50 for an ink pen. Now I'm gonna let this finish, and I'm gonna tell you what I think that's all about. Let's go.
I don't know, Congressman.
$90,000. This is a $90,000 bag of bushings that you need for any jet turbine engine.
And here's the killer part. That bag he holding right there is 90 grand. Those bushings are a one-time use, according to my buddy. When you have to take he told me the name of the thing. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, I can't remember the name of it. I just know what it is when I see it. It's a one-time use. Once you use it once, you throw it away. And you order another bag, a $90,000 bag of freaking bushings. That is insane.
Just to operate. So the exorbitant cost due to DoD only buying commercial parts from the OEMs, which is essentially sole source, is literally driving us out of business. I mean, the interest on.
So let's say it's a Pratt and Whitney engine. So the only place the government, they won't buy it from a third party. The only place they buying it from is Pratt and Whitney, and Pratt and Whitney got the price jacked on it. I mean, we know they made jack on when they sold the government the engines and the replacement engines and the parts, but 90 grand for bushings instead of using a third party. Well, it's a critical part. I get it, but it's a bushing. It's a freaking bushing. It's not a turbofan. You know what? It's not a, it's not a A&N fitting. Come on, man. Oh, A&N and you get A&N fittings. Us hot rodders use. Yes, that comes from the military too, Army, Navy.
On our debt alone is now exceeding, for the first time in American history, the entirety of now any jet turbine engine just to operate. So the exorbitant cost due to DoD only buying commercial parts from the OEMs, which is essentially sole source, is literally driving us out of business. I mean, the interest on our debt alone is now exceeding, for the first time in American history, the entire defense budget. We can't afford it anymore. So with FAA compliant parts, you cut the cost in half or even more. So my question is, why can't, these are commercial birds out there. By the way, it has all kinds of implications for contested logistics when you can access commercial parts in the middle of a war, potentially in the Pacific. Why can't we use FAA compliant? I mean, it's this safety standard leader in the world. Why can't we do that?
I don't know a reason why we couldn't. I'm familiar with some of the issues you're trying to raise here from my previous position.
Yeah, I know you are. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, Defense Logistics Agency used to report to me.
And look, we got a 2-star a Major General Air Force female. Look at all that fruit salad. And a full bird colonel. I don't know what they do in the Air Force. I have no idea. But look at all that fruit salad. Good night. And they just jotting down. You think they would have the attaché or liaison, especially this general, doing it for them? Or I would just record it, have my little pocket recorder, my Tascam recorder, and record it, and then I can, when I get back to my keyboard, I can have my assistant, which is probably going to be a first or second lieutenant, do it for me. But this is insane.
That's where we do a lot of our parts acquisition.
Oh, and before we say, oh, that's just another politician beating his gums, that guy that's holding up the sack of bushings there, Michael Waltz. He's a special forces officer. He's combat arms special force. He's a Green Beret. So he done got out of the military and now, he's an elected politician. So he knows. Wait a minute. Why does the extractor for the damn the M4, why does I can get a whole bolt on the civilian market for what y'all charging us for an extractor? We want to make sure it's the highest quality and it doesn't fail in battle and that. Yeah, I get all that, but dude, this ain't worth $40. You know how many of these I can buy for $40 at the freaking gun store right outside off a post? We're getting hosed. This is the stuff that they talking about trying to get under control?
And we had an issue when I was there with people gouging us, basically, charging us too much for parts. We ended up, I think, in court over it.
What can we, just in the interest of time, Secretary, come back to us? How can this committee help you fix that? We literally can't afford the modernization, the recruiting, the basing, everything we need if we're paying $90,000 for a bag of bushings.
I work with Dr. LaPlante on this because it's a systemic issue, and again, most of the parts buying is done through DLA.
But you have the largest fleet of commercial birds that. Well, right? You've got the Ferraris, but these are the pickup trucks, so we should just be able to buy.
What we have to be able to do is challenge the prices. And we have to have knowledgeable buyers who can understand when they're getting a ridiculous price and go in and ensure that they get.
Let's work together on that. I just need, in the interest of time, I just want to move again.
Okay, so y'all see what I'm talking about. Now, hold that thought. Don't move. Don't move. Now, because I'm going to ask y'all a question is to see if anybody is still here, or maybe I'm just talking to myself. To see who's here. Now, which one is this? All right, hold on. Okay, now let's go back to our original thing. Y'all tell me, is this $90,000 bag of bushings, which one does it fall under? Does it fall under fraud, intentional deception designed to deprive, false statements, bribes or gratuities, false weights and measures, or is it waste, extravagant carelessness, needless expenditure of government funds, improper practices not involving prosecutable fraud, or is it abuse? I don't think it's abuse. Government, intentional or improper use of government resources that can include, I don't know. Look, this is one of them things I'm saying, if it's intentional, I'm saying it's fraud. Me. If it's intentional, I'm saying it's fraud. Is if it's intentional and I bring it up to the command, to that female, that major general that was sitting behind, and she say, shut up, First Sergeant Taylor, and order the goddamn things, now it's abuse. Because see, we done kicked it up. Because unintentional, okay, or I tell her about it and she tell me to order it anyway. That means she know it's $90K a bag. Is she getting a kickback from the manufacturer? Did they promise her a gig when she retire at Pratt & Whitney? You know what I'm saying? A board position or whatever the hell. Is that why she doing? Is that it? Or is it just waste? Now, if the end user, Airman Snuffy, they got to install these things on the flight line when he putting the engines back together, and he just going lottie-dottie and letting them fall down the drain and oops and oh well and not doing and just wasting them. Yeah, now that's definitely waste on Airman Snuffy's part. But in this case, until they rake through who's behind this purchase, how did they derive Pratt & Whitney? I'm beating them up. I don't know if it's a Pratt & Whitney part, but the Air Force do use a lot of Pratt & Whitney engines, GE as well. So, but I'm just picking on Pratt & Whitney. All right, Pratt & Whitney, what the flip is going on? Why the hell is this bag of bushings $90,000? Well, we can investigate on it and whatnot, but for right now, y'all ordered 1,000 bags of these. Can you know how many jets that we have? That bag probably ain't enough to do a whole to reline a damn jet. Because remember, most jets have more than one engine, and the big boys got 4. You see what I'm saying? And it's a one use. It's not like something that can be used over and over and over again. It is a single use item. Once you take it out, my tea is done. I hear the microwave going off. When it's done, now, okay, do they have a system where they're recycled and they go back and they're melted down and made new or whatnot? Or do they just go in the damn dumpster? That I don't know. But which one it now in that case, which one is it, folks? Is it fraud? Is it waste? Oops. Or is it abuse? Y'all tell me. I don't know. I'm just a dumb ex freaking gun bunny. So, hey, there it is. A little long, but there's no way I could do that in 5 minutes. I'm sorry, it's just too much to cover. Y'all be good and be safe. Bye.